Good morning. It's time for our read aloud, The Runaway Racehorse. We're on chapter 4 today, and yesterday when the kids and Forrest went out to the barn in search of Whirlaway because he wasn't at the neighbor's house, Whirlaway was in the barn. He was all full of mud, and the kids had to water him down. And at the very end, when they were scrubbing him down, they found this little mark on his belly. You can see it right here, where my finger is over here, right there. It almost looks like a brand of some sort. And they're like, what do you think that is? And Whirlaway's kind of looking at him like, what are you doing? So we're going to find out if this is really Whirlaway. Chapter 4. Whirlaway could have gotten that when he was rolling in the mud, Dink said. He probably rolled over a rock or a piece of wood. Yeah, probably, Josh said. He wiped his soapy sponge over the strange sign and it disappeared. Dink trained trained the hose on Whirlaway again and rinsed off the soap. Ruth Rose found some towels hanging on the wall, and they rubbed Whirlaway's coat. When he was dry and shining, Ruth Rose unhooked Whirlaway's lead from the post and put him back in his stall. Come on, boy, she said. Whirlaway rolled his eyes as Ruth Rose started to lead him back in. He stiffened his legs and refused to walk. Good job, kids, Forrest said as he walked into the barn. He looks like a new horse. He wouldn't go in a stall, Ruth Rose said. Well, here, let me give it a try, Forrest said. He took the lead from Ruth Rose and began stroking Whirlaway's neck. He spoke softly in the horse's ear. After a minute, Whirlaway walked into his stall. He stuck his nose into the oats bucket and began eating. Forrest closed the door behind Whirlaway. He was probably a little spooked from being out during the storm. I'm coming home to all these strangers in the barn, he said. Just then, Sunny rode through the barn doors on a mountain bike. She hopped off, leaned the bike against the wall, and strolled over to the stall. Muddy boots. There's the bad boy, she said, reaching over the stall to pet his nose. Whirlaway again rolled his eyes and threw his head up and backed into the corner. Easy, boy, Sunny murmured. She looked at Forrest. He seems scared of me. That's strange. He did the same thing to me, Ruth Rose said. The five humans watched the horse. He was also watching them. Maybe he doesn't feel good, Dink suggested. Could he have eaten something bad while he was gone? Josh asked. I guess it's possible, Forrest said, but he looks fine and he just ate some oats. Sunny studied the horse. I hope I hope he runs okay tomorrow. How far away is Saratoga? Dink asked. Well, it's a few hours. It's near Albany, Sunny told them. She looked at Forrest. I'll come over at 6 and load Whirlaway in the trailer. I'll be there in plenty of time for him to relax before the race. That sounds good, Forrest said. Now let's go see what Warren bought us for our supper. And there is Whirlaway backing into the corner. He looks scared. I'm guessing it's not Whirlaway. That's my prediction. Forrest looked at his horse. No more disappearing tricks now, fellow, he said. Sunny pulled the stall's top door shut and checked the latch that it was in place. See you in Saratoga, she said. The kids watched her straddle her mountain bike and ride out the door. She looked funny pedaling a bike in muddy rubber boots. Uncle Warren was back with groceries. Soon they were all eating a hearty meal. After supper, they finished the Scrabble game. At 9 o'clock, Forrest stood up and yawned. Well, it's going to be a long day tomorrow, he said. I'm ready to turn in. Sounds good to me, too, said Uncle Warren. See you all in the morning. He patted Dink on the head and left the room. The kids padded down the hall to their own rooms. As Dink and Josh were crawling into the beds, they heard a knock. Ruth Rose opened the door. Nice Daffy Duck jammies, Josh, she said, marching into the room with her book. Quack, quack, Josh said. Ruth Rose sat on the end of Dink's bed with a book on her lap. I want to read you guys something, she said. Oh, goody, Josh said. Can we have some milk and cookies too? Ruth Rose held up her book. This is really about learning to ride your horse, she said, but there's a chapter about jockeys. She opened the book and began reading. Jockeys must earn the horse's trust. A good jockey does this by feeding and grooming the horse regularly. Most horses learn to like their jockeys and become friends. Ruth Rose looked up from the page. Does anything strike you about that? She asked. Oh, like what? Josh said. Well, did you notice when Whirlaway acted the way Whirlaway acted around Sunny? Ruth Rose said. He sure didn't seem friendly to her, said Dink. Yeah, and backed away as soon as she came in, said Josh. Exactly, Ruth Rose said. I think Whirlaway's afraid of Sunny. Ooh. And that's the end of chapter 4. Is he afraid of Sunny? Or is it not Whirlaway? Time will tell. Have a great day.